No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. If there's some kind of trouble or pain you're going through, know that you are not alone and someone cares for you. As an individualization of divine point of view, this door is open to you. This door is open. This door right here, this door is open to you. Is open for you. This door is open to you.
Good morning and welcome. This door is open to you. We want to thank you for being here today. My name is Darlene Strickland. I'm the senior minister here, and it's so good to be back. Yeah, it's good to see all of you. I've missed you. Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Does that just mean I should leave more often? Cultivates appreciation. Huh? I bring you greetings from Unity of Walnut Creek in California in the beautiful Santa Barbara area. My prayer partner, the Reverend Kristen Powell, is on sabbatical, and I had the pleasure of covering for her for 2 weeks and the rest of the time writing and exploring that beautiful part of the world. So as prayer partners, I hold their congregation in prayer, and she holds you in prayer. So truly, Unity of Walnut Creek sends you their blessings, and I wanted to bring that to you today. You're in for a real treat, but as we always do, we always like to anchor this time together in an awareness of the truth of who we are and an awareness of our sacred connection. So as we turn our awareness within this morning, we just say thank you. And there's no just about thank you. In the spirit of grace and gratitude, we acknowledge this one life that right now is animating our breath and our heart. It is the source of all creation, and yet perhaps so much more than we even know it to be and us to be. So we open our hearts and minds this day to be inspired, to ask, to receive, to bless, that we may be a blessing. For this time together, we are truly grateful. And in the name of all that is holy, thank you. And so it is. Amen. We invite you to stand as you're able and join in this opening congregational, that song that says, everybody get on your feet.
Everybody you meet, everybody get upon your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
You got it. Sing it out.
Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get get upon your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
All right, so with that, yes. Now take that hey, hey, yeah, yeah, and turn it as a namaste greeting to those around you. We acknowledge and see who you are. We extend a warm blessing. We take an opportunity to say welcome to all of you that are joining us virtually, and thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this consciousness and this community, for receiving this message in a way that speaks to you, and you are a blessing to us. All right, stay on your feet. This song puts it pretty plain. It says, this love,
this joy that I have,
the world didn't give it.
the world didn't give it to me. Oh no, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away.
Same for love, this love that I have.
The world didn't give it to me.
Oh no, this love that I have.
The world didn't give it to me. This love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. This peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. No, no, this peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me.
Sing it out.
This peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away.
Play it, Sarah.
This love that I have,
Sing it out.
the world didn't give it to me. Oh no, this love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away.
That last line.
The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away.
Yeah. The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. It's yours from within. Yeah. Thank you so much. You may be seated. What a beautiful, beautiful group we have today. I want to acknowledge this incredible Unity Band. We are so blessed to have Sarah, Dave, Joel, Joey, and Pete every week. It's just such a blessing to have them. They rehearse during the week. They show up early on Sunday. They go over this to make it just what it can be to create something that blesses all. Today, Elaine Scott is in the house. Come on up, Elaine. She's going to be sharing some music in a minute, so you're truly in for a treat. We have a wonderful program for our children. nursery age, all the way up through teens. If you have not yet made a trip back to the youth area, I want to acknowledge Nancy Thompson, where are you? I called upon her and asked for a favor and said, would you help us work with our teachers and do a makeover on our youth area? Would you please stand, Nancy? And she has put in tireless hours, volunteering, working with these teachers over here who have also put in incredibly amount of hours. But go back and look at the youth area. It is something to behold, absolutely wonderful. So we acknowledge our youth program, our children, our teens, and we affirm them with this blessing. And not only through these young people, but it extends to all young people. Would you join me in this affirmation that is on the screen? We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. Have a wonderful Sunday school experience this morning. We'd like to extend that same acknowledgement and welcome to each and every one of you. And if it happens to be your first Sunday here, if you just raise your hand, we'll get a connections card to you. There's some hands going up, Charlie. Unity folks, if you see a hand, you can lovingly point to them. And if we miss you, we have these cards in our welcome center after the service. We want to extend a special welcome to you that are new, but also a special welcome to each and every person that is here. And so we affirm this blessing to one another that says, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. I want to thank you so much. I also, because I have been gone for about 3 weeks, I want to thank our extended ministry team. They have done just an amazing job. And Reverend Marty, we're so blessed. You can come on up here and take a seat. Reverend Megan and I want to just spotlight a couple of announcements. I encourage you, look at our website. We have printed information in the foyer. There's a lot going on. How many of you have noticed and can say with me, there's a lot going on? There's a lot of opportunity for spiritual enrichment, personal development, and just growing in ways that speak to you. One of the things is happening today. And in a few minutes, I'm going to introduce an amazing young man, Timber Hawkeye. Not only will he be sharing a brief presentation this morning, but he's going to be back at noon. And I think once you've heard him, you're going to want to be back at noon to talk to him or to listen with him at noon. And then coming up, if some of you have thought, I'd like to meditate, but I don't know how, or if you've ever tried to meditate, you've already realized your mind has a mind of its own. And that's normal, so knowing how to be in relationship with that. Gail Ray, one of our longtime members and a meditation practitioner, is offering this class, so we invite you to this. Wednesday night, next Wednesday, believe it or not, it's the first Wednesday in May. So every first Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month, we have a Walk the Talk service at 7 p.m. It's focused on the 12 powers, so the ministry team and I will be here on Wednesday night, 7 p.m., talking about the power of self-empowerment, spiritual empowerment, holistic power, and so we invite you to come out and be a part of that. There's one other thing that Reverend Megan wanted to highlight today. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. I am ringing the bell to call all volunteers. Next Saturday, May the 4th, from 11 to 5 is the annual Mills River Day. Anybody been to Mills River Day here? We go every year, and Mills River Day is a day to celebrate the town of Mills River. It's a festival. They have music and food trucks and kids areas and local businesses. Lots of really fascinating things happening that day, and we have a booth. At the park, yes, it is at the park. More information, I have more information to give you if you would like, but we need some people who would love to represent Unity with us next Saturday. If you feel like showing up and spending some time in the sun and celebrating this particular spiritual congregation and what we have given you and what you can give back, I would love to talk to you more. We're gonna talk about prayer. We're gonna have some fun activities for kids, and it's going to be a great day. So if you would like to know more, please see me afterwards. I would love any of your smiling faces to join me. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Megan. So I want to share an inspirational reading today from a book that I discovered last September. The title of it is The Opposite of Namaste, and it's by none other than Timber Hawkeye. So notice the timing. I got this book in September because, quite frankly, the title spoke to me, and it looked pretty, and I love books. So the opposite of Namaste, but I really had not even cracked it open. And then fast forward to October. Last October, we had many of you in small groups doing a book study around another book. And one of the groups were a Zoom group. They were coming from all different areas, meeting virtually over Zoom. Now, every study group was challenged with do something practical. Go out and do something in the community, make a difference. Some of the groups went out to a prison and did meditation working in the area. Other groups purchased things and took them to shelters that needed them. Other groups wrote letters at the time to people in Ukraine and in Russia. A lot of powerful things happened. Well, the virtual group kept scratching their head thinking, well, we're coming from all over the place. What can we do? And so then I got an email from Kay Elliott. Kay, would you please stand today? I want to acknowledge you for being part of that group. Kay and Chris Slaughter was the facilitator for the group. But they said, we've got an idea. Our group would like to bring in a young, new Buddhist, all over spiritual. He'd fit in at Unity because he's been down a lot of different religious paths, and he's now just spiritual. And we'd like to bring him here as our gift to the church. And I thought, okay, that sounds interesting. What's his name? And she said, it's Timber Hawkeye. So it prompted me to crack the book open, to look at a TED Talk, to realize that he had spent time in Hawaii like I had. He knows the Reverend Sky St. John like I knew quite well. And one of the things that I come to understand about Timber, while today he's a best-selling author of several books, he has a popular podcast, webcast called Buddhist Boot Camp, teaches people all over the world. He has created a TED Talk, probably more than one. You'll hear his story today. I don't want to blow his thunder, but I just want to read with you when I opened his book and I started reading The Opposite of Namaste. He says, one definition of Namaste is the divine within me acknowledges the divine within you. It's a reminder that divinity resides in each of us. It's a greeting that helps us regard everyone as holy. This is easy to do when we're surrounded by loving, generous, considerate people. He said, but what happens when we come across somebody who's rude, hostile, impatient, and greedy? It becomes difficult, quite frankly, to see the divine right then. He said that's why he came up with a thought that said, well, the ego in me greets the ego in you. How many of you can relate to that? He said, from the perspective of radical self-awareness, whenever someone acts out of their ego, I get it, because I do too sometimes. And so the ego in me sees the ego in you, and then he gives a very big disclaimer. Having said all that, I am not suggesting you come up to a person and say, the ego in me greets the ego in you, or make that your mantra. But it's a way to remind us that we're all the package and the light, the lampshade and the light, the ego and the higher consciousness. He says, we may just need a skill that helps us keep the playing field level, no holier than thou. And he ends it by saying, next time you walk into a room full of people, instead of trying to impress everyone, instead find something impressive about everyone you meet. You're going to hear from him in just a moment. And before that, our amazing Elaine Scott is going to share the holy of every grain of sand. Would you welcome Elaine Scott?
when the pool of tears beneath my feet flood every newborn seed. There's a dying voice within me, reaching out somewhere, toiling in the danger and the morals of despair. Don't have the inclination to look back on any mistake. Like Cain, I now behold this chain of events that I must break. In the fury of the moment, I can see the master's hand in every leaf that trembles, in every grain of sand. Oh, the flowers of indulgence and the weeds of yesteryear, like criminals, they have choked the breath, the conscience and good cheer. The sun beat down upon the steps of time to light the way, to ease the pain of idleness and the memory of decay. I gaze into the doorway of temptation's angry flame, and every time I pass that way, I always hear my name. Onward in my journey, I come to understand that every hair is numbered, like every grain of sand. I've gone from rags to riches in the sorrow of the night, in the violence of a summer's dream, in the chill and wintry night, in the bitter dance of loneliness, fading into space, in the broken mirror of innocence and each forgotten face. I hear the ancient footsteps, like the motion of the sea. Sometimes I turn, there's someone there, other time it's only me. I'm hanging in the balance of reality of man, like every sparrow falling, like every grain of sand.
Elaine Scott, this beautiful Unity band. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you to our band. Come on up, Timber. Would you please also welcome Timber Hawkeye?
Thank you. Thank you for explaining how I ended up here. Because I never really know. I've ended up in so many places, and it made me think back to when did it all start? Because, like so many people, I was busy working in the corporate world. I was a paralegal for 10 years. And one day, one of the other paralegals was celebrating her 10-year anniversary. And the fact that she celebrated 10 years in a cubicle terrified me. No, she celebrated 30 years. Sorry, she was celebrating 30 years in a cubicle. And the fact that I had already spent 10 years in there. And I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. But right there and then, I knew what I didn't want. And I think knowing what you don't want is an equally helpful navigation tool. So I sold everything I ever owned because I thought my identity was tied to my belongings, to the fancy clothes, the designer furniture. I got rid of all of it, and I moved to Hawaii with just a backpack and a volleyball net, and the intention to lead a simple and uncomplicated life. And again, I didn't know what I wanted, but I knew what I didn't want. So every time an offer came my way and it wasn't aligned with my intention of a simple and uncomplicated life, I just said no to that. My friends freaked out. My family freaked out, of course. You can imagine leaving this prestigious law firm and this job and the condo and the sports car and everything that I had gone. And I told them, don't worry, I'll send you a letter every month to let you know what's going on with me. And with all this newfound time on my hands, because I got a job working 3 hours a day, because again, my entire way of thinking shifted from this hustle of, how much money can I make, to how little money do I actually need to make? And it turns out 3 hours a day was plenty. Because everything I liked to do in Hawaii was free and available all year round. Volleyball, tennis, hiking, going to the ocean. So I just got a job working 3 hours a day, and it opened up my schedule quite a bit to pursue what I've always been interested in, which is studying what people believe and why we believe what we do. And so I started studying with a Tibetan Lama who then guided me. I don't know how much you know about Tibetan Buddhism, but in my search for a simple and uncomplicated life, Tibetan Buddhism was way too complicated. And luckily, Lama Rinchen didn't try to force me into, taking refuge in their church or temple. And he just said, why don't you try Zen? I think you'd like it. And all along, every month, I'm sending letters to my friends, letting them know what's going on in my life, what I'm learning, where I'm going. Fast forward 8 years of when he said, try Zen, I didn't just pick up a book on Zen Buddhism. I moved into a Zen monastery. And fast forward 8 years, and my friend said, those letters you've been sending us every month? She said, I think it would be good if you published it, because I take your emails and I forward them to my friends and they forward it to their friends. I'm like, you're sending my emails to people I don't know? And she said, yes, and they really appreciate it. I think it would be really good if you put it in a blog or in a book. And I'm like, nobody reads blogs, which meant I wasn't reading blogs. And she goes, put it in a book. And I'm like, who would want to read that? And she said, Timber, that's not for you to decide. You write it, they decide if they want to read it. And it turns out that she was really onto something, because when I took the monastic vows, the vow was to be of service, and I didn't know what it was going to look like. And when I moved into the second of 3 monasteries, that one was completely off the grid. No internet, no electricity, no nothing, which is why I liked it so much. But she sent me a handwritten letter, if you remember those. And she said, Timber, you took a vow to be of service, and I get that you like it where you are, but how exactly are you being of service if you're tucked away in the mountains somewhere and no one can reach you? She had a point. I didn't like hearing it, but she had a good point. And so I left, and I, by that point, learned about the middle path in Buddhism, not all the way to the left, not all the way to the right, but somewhere in the middle. So I didn't go right back to the corporate world. I moved into a temple with Wi-Fi. I figured that was a good middle ground. And I compiled all those emails of over 8 years, and I put them into a book. And the reason I started this by saying thank you for explaining how I ended up here today is because that book that I thought my friend was going to get, maybe my parents were going to buy a copy just to be supportive, that book ended up being the international bestseller in multiple languages. I'm not saying it. No, it's like, I don't work for applause. I work for a cause. And so the book ended up being required reading in high schools in California. It's in prisons all over the country. Through the Mental Health Association, the Veteran Health Administration, I speak in prisons and recovery groups. And it's just like, this was just my personal journal. Every chapter in the book is only a page or two long. You can read them, and because it's emails that I sent to my friends. I never sat down and said, I'm going to write a book. That never happened. I just shared my journey as I was going through it. And it kind of humbled me that this is not my journey, it's our journey. We're all in this together. We're all battling the same demons. And I don't think it's by coincidence. I think it's by design, so we can help each other out. And so I went on a book tour that was supposed to be 3 weeks and ended up being 3 years. And when I'm on tour, I don't stay in hotels. I sleep on people's couches. Because in my mind, I'm like, I can't justify spending money in a hotel when that money can go towards books for more prisons and schools and all that stuff. So it was just, I kept the monastic vows, but I moved out of the monastery onto people's couches. But when you take a vow to be of service, you don't know what that's going to look like. It's kind of like when you show up to volunteer at the shelter. You don't know what they're going to make you do, but your job is to say yes. You can't show up and go, well, I don't chop onions, or I don't clean windows. You just do what they tell you to do. And I'm not a public speaker. This is extremely uncomfortable for me. I can think of 100 places I'd rather be. But when you're called to be of service, you show up. And when I went into the Buddhist monastery, when I studied with the Lama, when I started having all this free time to look at all these different worldviews, because I'm technically ordained Buddhist, but my mantra is Hindu. My morning meditation is the Catholic prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. My altar has Jesus on it, next to Buddha and next to St. Francis, and they get along just fine. They sure do. So I was studying world religion and psychology, like I said earlier, to not just understand what people believe, but why we believe what we do. All that is to say and to figure out at the end of that journey that it doesn't matter what you believe, because your beliefs don't make you a better person. Your behavior does. So I shifted and started studying human behavior. Like, why do we behave the way we do? And why is it so often misaligned with what we claim to believe? In fact, like when I show up, I don't know what I'm going to say until I say it, which sometimes gets me in trouble, but there's a joke about this person who's running really late for work. So they're driving really, really fast. They got their cup of coffee in their hand, their morning bagel in another, and they're just zipping in and out of traffic, and they're just speeding, and then on the phone over speakerphone trying to sort it all out. And they approach a yellow light, and they're really hoping the car in front of them runs the yellow light so they can run the yellow light and get to work on time. But the car in front of them, probably me, stops. And so they slam on the brakes, the coffee spills all over the place, they drop the bagel, and they're cussing and screaming and honking the horn, and just for show, they roll down the window to flip the bird, and all of a sudden there's a knock on their window. There's a cop behind them. And the cop says, I want to see your driver's license and your registration. And they go, why? What did I do? I didn't do anything wrong or illegal. And the cop says, true, but when I pulled up behind you, first I saw that, you flipping the bird out the window, giving the finger to the driver in front of you, and I can hear you honking your horn. And as I walk towards your window, I can hear you cussing, using words I haven't even heard my teenage kids say. And the car you're driving has a sticker on the back that says, practice random acts of kindness and namaste. And there's a cross hanging from the rearview mirror. So I figured the car is stolen. And so all that is to say, again, that your beliefs don't make you a better person. Your behavior does. And what we're going to talk about at noon, we're going to come back. We're just going to sit here like in this semicircle that we are in right now for not a talk, but more of a discussion about not here are the things you need to do in order to be happy, but here are the things you're actively doing that are preventing you from being happy. It's not about, oh, you need to do this, 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 and this. It's like, stop doing this, 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 and that. It's not going to be comfortable if I do my job right. But there are many ways in which we get in our own way. And I want to bring this back to the prayer of St. Francis. Is anyone not familiar with the prayer? Doesn't know it? It's okay to say, okay. One person brave enough to say they're not familiar. Okay, there's another one. Great. I bet that even if you're familiar with it, I changed it. I don't think St. Francis would mind. And I want to share it with you the way it was quote unquote originally written, and then I'm going to tell you what I changed about it. Because I was introduced to the prayer when I was 16, and I sat with it every morning, and I, perhaps embarrassed to admit that for the first 6 or plus years, I misunderstood it. Mind you, I sat with it every morning, and I thought I was doing the right thing, but I got it wrong. I'll explain. So, the prayer is addressed to God. Now, if you're not comfortable with the word God, just add an O, the good. You're just having a conversation for the good within you. Or I liked it when someone said they call God Gus, God, universe, spirit. So I like that. Because the name we give God is not as important as the appreciation we have for God. And it's addressed to God, or the good within. And it starts out by saying, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. Grant that I shall not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, or to be loved as to love. For it's in giving that we receive, it's in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it's in dying that we are born to eternal life. And it sounds really beautiful, and I really liked it, but I misunderstood it. First, I really did not like the fact that it says, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Because by definition, I was saying every morning, I was implying that I'm not already. So I started my everyday from a place of lack. Please, please make me something that I'm not. That didn't quite work with affirming, with empowering me. Does that make sense at all? It's like saying, God, give me strength. What you're essentially saying is, God, you messed up. I didn't get strength. When you give everyone strength, please give me something that I lack. As opposed to saying, thank you for the strength, which taps into its unlimited supply, if that makes sense. So instead of saying, please make me an instrument of thy peace, I changed it. And I said, I am an instrument of peace. And that terrified me. That was really scary because I'm an instrument of peace. What does that mean? And that sounds like a really huge responsibility. And I don't know how to do that. And it's like, relax, Timber. The prayer goes on. There's instructions. Where there's hatred, sow love. Where there's injury, pardon. Where there's doubt, faith. Where there's this, it's like, oh, okay, there's step by step. And so I went out and I thought my job was to go out in the world and wherever there's hatred, sow love. Wherever there's injury, pardon. And no, I still misunderstood it. I needed to change the prayer a little more. I needed to add one word. My job wasn't to go out and fix the world. Where there's hatred within, I shall sow love. Where there is injury within, pardon. Where there is doubt within, this is what I need to work on. Does that make sense? Like, I can't fix the world out there if I myself am looking at the world through my own kind of sense of superiority complex, so to speak. I can't claim to have faith and then simultaneously behave in a way as if I don't. Every time I speak at a church, I failed to do it today, but I can do it now. Every time, especially when it's a new church, I go, how many of you believe in God? Most people raise their hand, right? And then I go, how many of you worry? Same people all raise their hand. And I go, you realize you can't do both, right? Because the moment you worry, you dropped your faith in God. Because am I making sense at all? So the invitation in the books, in the podcast, in my talks, the reason I end up in all these sometimes strange, but this weekend, strangely beautiful places, is to invite us to live in alignment. Because Gandhi said that happiness, true happiness, is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are all in harmony, when they're all in alignment. Because if you're not at peace within yourself, you cannot live at peace with others. You're internally conflicted. And Buddhism gets a bad rap sometimes, like, oh, you're just focusing on yourself. That's so selfish. When the Buddha was asked, how can you be taking a nap when so many people need your help? He said, I can't help anyone if I don't get my nap. So even his nap was selfless because he took it so he can be of service to others. So we're going to come back here at noon. You're going to get a little break to stretch your legs and chat and whatnot. And we're going to come back here and we're going to unpack the many ways in which we contribute to our own anguish. In many ways, we drive around the way we do with a little sticker on our car that says, practice random acts of kindness. To not find peace. Many people say they're looking for peace, as if it's lost, like change between the couch cushions. We need to create peace. It's an ongoing process of creation through our thoughts, words, and actions. And unless you're fortunate enough to be in a relationship with someone who holds a mirror to you and says, look what you're doing, you said this and you're doing this, I show up and I hold up that mirror. It's a very strange job. And go, look what you're doing. The reason, as Darlene mentioned, the book is called The Opposite of Namaste, is because it is really easy to say namaste to someone who is kind and generous and loving and patient. But when you're sitting across from someone who is rude, when you're sitting across from a jerk, it's really hard to say namaste, jerk. And yet, I've been a jerk before, knowingly or unknowingly. And so the moment I go, you know what? I know why you do what you do, because the ego in me sees the ego in you. And then I can love the whole of you. Does that make sense? Ego and all. I don't want to go on too long, but I do want to say one. This isn't just about interpersonal relationships with the people in your life across the table from you, your in-laws, your neighbors. When you're witnessing someone on the other side of the world behaving in a way that you think is just quote-unquote wrong, the invitation is to realize no one does anything wrong considering their model of the world. They believe that what they're doing is right, or they wouldn't be doing it. And we all have feelings. We're going to talk later about the difference between feelings and emotions and how to navigate around all of that. I'm not going to get into it now, but feelings are indicative of needs within us that are either being met or not met. So when you're witnessing what's going on in the world and you're going, what are they thinking? They may not be thinking, they may be feeling. And when you go, what must they be feeling? And when they feel hurt and betrayed and wronged, we can all relate to that. We can all have compassion and empathy for that and go, I've acted that way when I felt wronged and betrayed and cheated and lied to and stolen from. And so I know why they're doing what they're doing. It doesn't condone it. It doesn't in any way approve of it or say it's okay, but it says, I know why you do what you do. I believe non-judgment day is here, but your participation is required. So I hope you come back at noon, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, thank you guys.
Would you stand up just one moment? So we have a tradition that we would love to, if you're willing. I won't hug you. Thank you. We rub our hands together and we say that we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. And we truly see that.
Thank you.
Join me in that affirmation. Timber. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the divinity in you.
Thank you.
Thank you for saying yes. When the group reached out to him and asked if he would come, he said, I'm here to serve. I'm saying yes.
Thank you.
He didn't say, what can you pay me? What can you do?
Yeah, it's true.
He said yes.
Yeah,
So,
I don't have a speaking fee. I don't ever charge for it. Even the books, every time you get one, another one is donated to the Prison Library Project, to the Mental Health Association, and the Veteran Health Administration. And people go, that's so great. I'm like, I'm not doing it. You guys are. You brought me here. You did this. And so when the message transformed my life so much, keeping it to myself would be the most selfish thing in the world, which would imply I didn't get the message. So thank you. Thank you.
thank you. I think it's worth singing again. The world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. Would you stand? Sing this purpose that I have. This purpose that I have. The world didn't give it to me. Oh, this purpose that I have. The world didn't give it to me. This purpose that I have. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, and the world didn't take it away. Now sing this last one out. This love, pick it up. This love that I have.
The world didn't give it to me.
Oh no, this love that I have.
The world didn't give it to me. This love that I have.
The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. Last line. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. Yeah. Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. I hope you will come back at noon. You'll have time for a break. There's plenty of places close by if you didn't bring a snack and you need a little snack, but do come back at noon. It's a love offering for anyone that wants to give and can give, which will be blessing him with that. So we want to thank you for that. We take this opportunity to ask our prayer chaplain to come up today. I believe I saw one of our prayer chaplains earlier today. Here she is. Cindy is coming on up, and our ushers are coming forward. Unity is founded in prayer. And so every week, back by the tapestry, there's little slips of paper. You can write down your prayer request. We hold it in confidence in prayer as our ministry team and our prayer chaplains. Then we send it to Silent Unity, where it's held for 30 days. And then our ushers remind us that this is a place of sacred service, that what we do, it depends on the love offering that comes in. And so we truly appreciate each and every one giving what they can give, and that's what makes it work. And so we hold these gifts of tithe and offering in our hand, and we make this affirmation together that says, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. I am now in perfect balance and flow with the universal tides of giving and receiving. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. Elaine Scott.
I'm so glad somehow I've got salvation now. It keeps me moving in my soul. Every day I find
Wayne Scott. And this amazing band. Yes, yes, yes. You were born to sing, and when you sing, it blesses our soul. Don't you agree? Would you please remain standing? Yeah. We're going to bring this to a close with a song that says, "Let there be peace on earth." And you know, there is peace on earth. And so there is peace on earth, and it does begin with us. We're going to close with this song, give you a break, and hope to see you back at noon.